Okay, let's go through the mechanics of building the basic facade. And this is exactly or very similar to the other project that we've already done. So I'll just go through the components for us. The shape is generated by a top line and a bottom line and a midspan line, which is defined by a sine wave, which becomes a NURBS curve. So if we go in here and we look at what we start out with initial parameters, we have a facade width, a wave location, that's this sine wave, the total height, and then the facade bottom line here. And those are generated, the top and bottom lines are just the location of a start and end point for both the top and bottom coordinate that are added together, and then to create those what are polycurves, 2 points. And those are then going to be fed into the facade surface. Now, as far as the center wave goes, this is actually could be defined a bunch of different ways, but my latest reiteration of this is to just use the math sine code, or the math sine function. So we start with a range of numbers to give us points. So we go from the facade width of 200 in steps of 10. So that gives us a range of 21 points. And then I create enough angle with the degrees here to create a list of 21 components. And that's 1800 degrees through 90-degree increments. Up here is the amplitude. That's just a math function over here, which is a sine wave times amplitude, which is what that's called, and I've created just a code block for that. And then our range of angles is fed into the math sine function, and that generates our sine wave output. Now, it could be, and I haven't checked it, but this could actually work on radians. Oh, it says angles in degrees, so we're okay there. Sometimes these functions work in radians, so there has to be a conversion for it. Anyway, I take this out, and I flatten it, which I don't think I actually need to do here. I think that's a leftover from some other code writing. And feed that into our points by coordinate. And if I highlight that, you'll see that's all the blue dots in the background. The Z value is the midpoint of the span that comes from a slider. The X is the sequence, the range across in the X direction, and then we control the amplitude, the offset, with that Y function. That's the one that oscillates between positive and negative values. If we look here, we see those moving between those. And then we just feed those data points, or those points, into a function that allows us to create a curve from it. So I'm going to end this clip there. Well, actually, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do one more step, and that is I'll turn the facade on so we can actually see what the facade looks like. And that defines the first generation of this part of the project, and that is just to define the facade. Next, we'll look at cutting it up. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here more in case you're working off of the video. This, you could almost use this as a screenshot if you were going to try to work through these definitions on your own. But we've done it once. It would be nice to work through it again, just to you know, take the time to re-experience just building these kind of surfaces. And next we'll come back at creating some cutting planes for this.